Hey guys, this is your girl Tara with Coaching for Life. Today's video and thought is on the topic of the power of your thoughts and words. So here's a question for you. Have you ever been in a place in your life or been experiencing a feeling of just complete panic? Like there's chaos going on, you're feeling stressed out, and you just start reaching for different support mechanisms, whether that's a person, a group, an organization, an activity, whatever it may be. You're reaching for things because you've just come to this place of meltdown and you need support right now. Well, today's video is most definitely for you. I was inspired to speak about this topic today because, as I've mentioned in the past, I just watch and I observe things. So when a lot of things start to come into my circle, or I start to see a lot of the same things, then I know, okay, it's definitely time to share some information on the topic or to open the topic up for discussion, so that way we can get some energy out there regarding this kind of situation that keeps happening. So sometimes when we're in a state where we're feeling panicked and like we need that support right now, we will run to the nearest situation, or what we believe is the nearest situation. A lot of times that's a person. And sometimes we'll pick people that maybe we haven't even reached out to maybe in a very long time. But if we're looking at our list and there doesn't seem to be anybody else to call, we will reach out to them for that support, which is completely natural, because support is the name of the game when we as human beings are going through something. So putting that off to the side, if you begin to find that you are constantly in a situation where everything's hitting critical mass and you're having to reach out to people who maybe you haven't connected with in a long time because you desperately need that support, the question that I want you to think about today is, have I taken the time to support myself in thought, in word, and in deed, so that way I can start to feel better and feel myself coming out of that state of critical mass? So what I mean by that is, have you taken the time to check the vocabulary or the language that you're using? For instance, is every other word something that is negative with regard to what it is you are trying to do, or what you are trying to experience, or what you are trying to have, or what you are trying to cope with? If every other word is negative, then those words carry a very powerful vibration with them. And as I've discussed before, words are more than just sound. Those sound waves carry energy and vibration, which have an effect on your physical surroundings around you. So remember that point, that because everything is made of energy, even the sound waves that we commit into the atmosphere or the space around us affect and resonate up against what we consider to be our physical reality, because everything on a cellular level is vibrating. So you want to be thoughtful about what kind of vibration that you're putting out into the atmosphere around you. Another thing you can check for is to see, okay, I've looked to see if my words are negative. Let me check the way that I've been handling things lately. Have you been in a very stressful place and you find that you really haven't been taking the time to do those things for yourself, to create that resonance of peace or creativity or love, all of those good positive emotions inside of yourself? And if your excuse is, I've been too busy, just know that it's just that. It's just an excuse. It's just a thought. But the reality is, each and every one of us can make time to care for our personal needs. That includes caring for our needs on a creative level, caring for our needs on a spiritual level, caring for our needs on a physical level. And I've mentioned this before, even checking to see, am I eating foods that are beneficial for helping me to stay in a healthy and synergistic state with my body physically? Am I consuming enough water? Am I getting enough rest? Am I interacting with people who nourish those qualities in me that I really truly want to nourish? Is everybody that I'm around in a negative state of mind or saying negative things as well? This is another very big area that you can check to make sure that you are nourishing that metaphysical part of yourself that really wants to be loved as well. And remembering that beings are whole beings. So if we're looking at things from a holistic standpoint, then we want to make sure that we're not just focusing on this part of ourselves, but we're also focusing on this part as well. All those little pieces of the pie that make the person and the self are important and should be nourished and considered regularly, so that way we have balance on our scales. So if we're constantly nourishing just those physical aspects, taking care of bills, taking care of day-to-day kind of activities, eventually all those needs that are in want on the metaphysical side or the spiritual side, they just keep building up, building up, building up. And eventually that scale is way down here. Why? Because there's no access point for them to release. They need a place to be able to filter out and release, just like every other aspect of yourself. So if we're not taking the time as individuals to make sure that we have a proper release for those creative and for those metaphysical and spiritual parts of our being, then we'll find that the scale gets uneven, and all of a sudden we're back at critical mass. We're not feeling good. We're feeling anxious. We're dealing with stress. We're dealing with, anger or frustration. All of these emotions that just don't feel good to us are coming up, and we're trying to figure out, where did this come from? Well, it comes from a place of not dealing with the whole being. So that's another avenue we definitely want to check into when we're feeling like, I need support right now. Checking our words to make sure that every other word is not negative, and understanding the power of our words, and also checking into self-care, making sure that we are doing those things for the entire being. That includes our diet, that includes what we do for our mind, heart, and spirit, our creativity, all of those important functions and outlets that have to do with the self. We need to make sure that we're caring for those areas as well. So these were a few thoughts I wanted to share today, because I noticed as of lately, there's a lot of people in a panic state of, I need assistance now. And so what can happen when we kind of just run out in the streets and we start hawking down people that maybe we really don't even have that level of a relationship with, for urgency and assistance right now, people will tend to kind of feel that anxious energy and back off, which doesn't feel good, because when we want to be supported, we want to be supported, and that's human. But if we remember that we as individuals, and by we I mean the human race, we are so powerful within ourselves, and there's so much support that we already have within ourselves, that if we remember those simple, basic, key areas that have to do with our speech, our thoughts, self-care for the physical body, for the spiritual body, and for all the things that have to do with what makes the being, not just the person, but the being, everything inside of us that creates the person that we are. When we start to care for all of those components, we will find that we are in a situation less often that requires a red alert. All hands on deck, I need help now. We won't find ourselves in that position as often because we're being balanced. And because we're taking the time to be responsible for our self-care and our well-being, not only do we contribute to more peace in our own lives, but we also contribute to peace in the areas surrounding us. So that resonates out to friends, family members, people on the street. There's less road rage. There's all of those wonderful benefits when we start to be responsible, each and every one of us, for our own self-care. So this was my thought for today. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Have you gone through a situation like that? Are you currently going through a situation like that? Or do you know someone who's reaching out to you, who it sounds like they may be in a situation like that? Is this information that you could possibly share with them? Or do you have your own scenario that you'd like to share? Feel free to leave comments below. We'd love to hear from you and hear what processes you're using. And also let us know how the processes that are suggested in this video, when applied, assisted you to be able to feel more responsible for your own well-being and how that resonated outward in your life. This is your girl Tara from Coaching for Life. Have a great and beautiful day wherever you are. I look forward to being with you in the next video.